Hospital Porter's pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to Herpanmo TV and welcome to this, Ben and Tere 2, Woodward Park. Yes, this is the follow-up I promised to my previous video with Tere Joyce, my collaboration. And I did tell you that she was going to upload some more material and also allow me to mirror it, which is what I'm doing. This is a lovely trip. You're going to enjoy it. It's really, really cool, where we visit a beautiful location called Woodward Park in Fresno, which is actually it's like a nature reserve stroke park stroke. There's a Japanese garden, which you're going to see. It's going to be really, really cool. And a little bit of a surprise from a peacock, which is nice. Now, there's been a few updates from Contacts in the Desert again. Now, you may be familiar with it. This has been going around for a while. There's a follow-up on the UFO that was seen, and I filmed, and everyone else filmed, when we were at the Skywatch with Chris Bledsoe. Now, Mick West, many other people, and even Patrick from Vetted have come forward and said that that was just an airplane that we saw. I personally doubt that. Now, I'm not saying it's definitely aliens or anything like that, but it didn't look like that. There was a lack of flashing navigation lights, for example. Other planes were going over at the time. In fact, I even make note of them in some of the videos. You say, oh, Ben, oh, that's just a plane, things like that. You can actually see in the video that I'm actually doing that. There were other people using Flight Tracker, because apparently the plane we're seeing now was actually brought on Flight Tracker, was actually seen on Flight Tracker. Now, I personally saw other people using Flight Tracker on their mobile phones while we were out on that lawn with Chris Bledsoe doing the Skywatch. So, yeah, that's a bit. So I don't know what it was I saw, but I think Patrick is a bit hasty to dismiss this. Mick West, well, there's no surprise there. Mick West was going to say that anyway, wasn't he? Now, there's been another little update, which is very, very strange. An article was published in the Wall Street Journal, literally days after Contacts in the Desert, which I wonder if that's really a coincidence. Now, the Wall Street Journal is best known for its coverage of the financial world, and so this surprised me a little bit. I actually wrote about this on Herpanmo Voice. I don't know how many of you actually read Herpanmo Voice, because you can read all about it here on this article, which I published. Let me just show it to you. Breaking news: UFOs were a psyop. Yes, indeed. Now, regular viewers may know where I'm going with this, but it said, really, what it said was that, and there's been I mean, I don't know what it actually said literally, because it's behind a paywall, but there's been a lot of follow-ups, there's been a lot of commentary, enough for me to gather the general gist of this particular article. It claims that at least most of what believers perceive to be UFOs do not exist. Most of the UFO evidence is not real. It's all actually some kind of engineered neo-mythology created as psychological warfare to launder more down-to-earth covert projects. Now, this disinformation apparently reached a point where the perpetrators themselves became confused and they began to believe their own hype. And they even use this as a hazing ritual. People who are new to the UFO investigation organizations like Arrow, ATIP, etc., would be shown evidence as what they call a hazing ritual, just to see, as a kind of test. It's kind of like, this often happens in the military and in other areas where there's lots of a male-dominated profession. They will, in fact, this happened in hospital porters a lot. They play some kind of trick on you just to test to see how well you handle it. Whether you can accept it with good humor, things like that. It's just I think a natural thing that goes on. But this is different. They would show people fake UFO documents. I'm not kidding you, just to see if they believed them. And some of them did, and then eventually the people creating the fake documents believed them. It's all very, very nebulous, I must say. And they even got to the point where they were like handing out flyers at the Little Alien and places around Area 51, asking, have you seen these alien spaceships and things like this? We believe there might be alien spaceships nearby. I've got this photograph here of an alien craft that was flying over Area 51. Come and have a look at it, will you? It's really, really reminiscent of Kelly Chase's lecture at Contacts in the Desert. Now, the theory was that the government were engaged in keeping very real secrets. The design of spy planes, the U-2, the SR-71 Blackbird. And it was actually quite useful if people who saw these experimental aircraft mistook them for alien spacecraft. And the idea eventually led to, as I've just said, to the point where they were deliberately seeding alien and UFO stories in the media, completely fake, and among UFO researchers, so that everybody would be encouraged to think in those terms. And this secret, this bombshell, it's been described as a bombshell. Stephen Greenstreet then went and did this interview, this follow-up interview here, the New York Post. Where is it? Here we go. This one here. Bombshell. Pentagon created fake UFO evidence, where he interviews this guy who was actually in Arrow. He was actually a part of the... I don't know if you can see that. You should be able to see that. Yeah. This guy was actually, I think he was second in command after yeah, here we go. Over the last 7 years, there we go, blah, 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 blah. Tim Phillips, 45-year veteran, military command service, deputy director of Arrow. There you go. This guy here. And Greenstreet interviews him and says this is, it says it's, no kidding, bombshell. Pentagon created fake UFO evidence, promoted false alien stories. We've just uncovered it. No one knew beforehand. Wow. Well, yeah, I think if you're a regular viewer, you'll know where I'm going with this, because I've addressed this point many, many times, because what Arrow has supposedly uncovered is not a secret. In fact, it's been circulating publicly for decades, and it's been the subject of several best-selling books. Mirage Men by Mark Pilkington, for example. It also comes up in Janny Jacobson's Area 51 book. And it's not it's not original. It's been circulating for so long, and within ufology, it's not an original idea. It's very fashionable. It's the absolute theoretical staple of the UFO backslapper element, but it's completely implausible. Just think how easily and badly it could backfire. You're drawing someone's attention towards something with the ultimate objective of deflecting it away, and that's a very risky gambit. Imagine two men who robbed a bank. All right. One of them buried their stolen stash of money underneath a tree in the middle of a dark forest, made a note of where it was in a cipher, and then disappeared and just walked away and never told anyone, right? The other one does something. The other bank robber does something very different. He buries the cash, yes, but then he puts on a striped jersey and a mask over his eyes and a cloth cap. And every time a policeman walks past, he says, "Mr. Policeman, over here, look at me, right? I'm not a..." Just to let you know, there's no stolen cash hidden here, and I'm not a bank robber, all right? What I've got down here and what I've buried here is just unicorn bones. Okay, right? Which of those two stashes do you think is going to be found first? Which of those two bank robbers do you think is going to be found first? Exactly. What we're dealing here is actually a very elaborate double bluff. There is a cover-up, it is a psyop, but it's a cover-up of the fact that UFOs are real. The story about how they made up UFOs is a lie that they made up. Do you see what I mean? And it's Linda Moulton Howe makes this point in her interview in Mirage Men, the movie. And she's the only person she says this, actually talks sense in that entire film. I think this has been done basically because, firstly, it may be something to do with the fact that contact in the desert happened. And do you know one of the Congress people, I think it was, which one was it? Not Budget. I thought, which one of them was going to go and speak there? We were actually going to have a Congress person speaking at Contact in the Desert, and they only pulled out at the last minute. They literally only pulled out, apparently they only literally pulled out at the last minute. Now that must have scared a few people. I think they put this out there I think this is not intended for the general public. Most people don't read Wall Street Journal. I don't know how many of them watch Green Street, but the fact of the matter is the original article was behind a paywall, but they know that the Congress people all watch Wall Street Journal. They all read Wall Street Journal. This was intended for Congress. This was intended to try and bamboozle and confuse and basically dissuade the people in Congress, like Burchett, like Luna, like Moskowitz, and all those others, Garcia, right? It's to dissuade them from looking at this subject, to think, look, you've been fooled, mate. You've been fooled. All this is a big scam by the CIA, and you've been fooled by it now. Just drop it now and walk away. That's what they're hoping will happen. That's why they've done this. But if only, I'm pleased to say that I'm not the only one calling this out. Richard Dolan has, the Backyard Professor, many, many other people. Of course, Stephen Cambion has done an entire live stream about saying how it's all true, etc. But it's not true. It's not true. I've been putting comments on all the videos I can, just explaining this. You see, I put this comment here on. I'll just show you Stephen Cambion's thing here. This is Stephen Cambion's little live stream about it. There's my comment that basically says everything that I have just said. It's really just they're trying to put Congress off here. It's a double bluff intended to mislead Congress. I do hope that these people in Congress are actually aware of this, and they watch Richard and they watch other people, and they understand this is not an original idea. It's not new. This is something they've regurgitated up. They've dug up this old thing that's been going around for ages. It's this hackneyed backslapper fodder in the hope that they can try and shut down Congress's interest in UFOs, and I do hope it won't work. I really, really do. Anyway, that's enough waffling by me, I think. Let's now go on to the main feature of this particular program, which are Tere's 2 videos that she's made since then. So I do hope you enjoy them.
Hi, I am here to pick up Ben Emlyn Jones. He is arriving on the Greyhound now. I'm actually at the Greyhound. I'm gonna like flip the camera around a little bit to kind of, there's some pigeons here. There it is. Yeah, there. Not all here that. Here it comes. Here's the bus. It's gonna be on this bus. Alright, you should be coming out any minute now. Here comes the door, it's opening. Alright, I'll put it on me for a second. Ben's gonna come out in just a minute. There you are! Hi! I'm filming already! Finally!
Hello. Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah! How was your ride?
It was a long one. I'll get mine out. I'll get my camera over here. It's been a long one.
Oh yeah, we're gonna both film each other.
Yeah. So I've just recorded. Hey, I'm here with Tere Joyce. You recognise me, don't you? Just arrived on his coach.
Yeah.
And I've travelled a long way to see her, and she's finally here. She's filming me too. It's really good.
Yeah.
So, oh great.
Brilliant.
Hello.
Hello.
Panda. Hello. How are you? Yeah.
We're at Tipsy's, and I'm with Ben Emlyn Jones, and
Greetings.
he's here in Fresno.
I am indeed, yeah. I've made the journey. It's been a long journey, but it's been worth it. I've got to see my friend Tere for the first time. I've just come back from the Contacts in the Desert conference, and I'm really having a good time. So it's great to be here in this country and with this company, and doing the great conferences and visiting great places.
All right. And then you were talking about how there's the day of the dead.
Yes, I mentioned.
She kind of said like everybody.
No, not babies, but everybody has this like voodoo like.
Yeah.
Voodoo like thing, don't they?
All right. Now we're rolling.
Greetings, my name is Ben Emlyn Jones and I'm here at Woodward Park in Fresno with the wonderful, the one and only, the unique Tere Joyce. And we're here to look at ducks and geese and enjoy the nice weather.
Yeah, we are in Woodward Park, and I am with Ben Emlyn Jones, and this is like our final day being here, and you know what? I think we should like actually show a little bit of what people can see. I'm actually barefoot right now. I'm like, I get out of nature and I'm like, oh no, I have to take my socks off. I mean, well, I didn't even have socks on. I have to take my shoes off, right? So, here's a little bit of like what we got here. We've got, I guess I should put shoes on because now I'm going to walk into things, but we have geese here. And let's show them. We had a whole group of geese like try to come and cross the street. It reminded me of like the Beatles crossing the road, right?
Yeah, this is the Abbey Road of the geese. But there was a whole load of them just strolling across the car in front of us. And we were sort of sitting there and they were just completely oblivious, entitled Canada geese, just strolling very calmly across, not feeling the need to get out of the way. Obviously we could have charged them, but then we could have hurt them, you know, so we just stood there and just waited for them. And then we had to wrestle with the parking ticket, which the pay display parking ticket, which was a nightmare. It wouldn't work. So we're just de-stressing a little bit before we continue our journey around this lake. Perfect for the
Right. Ooh. I just stepped in geese poop. That's lovely. And I'm not wearing shoes.
Taking your shoes off.
That's what you get when you like take your shoes off. You walk in geese poop. So I'm here with Ben Emmeline Jones, and we are at Woodward Park. There's a whole history of Woodward Park this used to be a place where like the stoner kids hung out at, in which I never did, but it was a place that people went to. It's really built up. We have Shenshen, I think it's called Shenshen, Japanese Gardens, and so I've never been to it before, so I want to experience it. But this is one of the places that, I mean, this is like, like Fresno's known for being like dry, and here like we actually have there's been a full-on lake out here, and a lot of events come out here. People take photographs out here, and then I'm going to come by and be at Ben and show Ben there.
It's really nice here, actually. It's a lovely, peaceful place. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, we all need a little bit of peace. So what? Tell everybody like what we've been doing here.
Well, we've been. Yesterday we went to a comedy club where Tere was performing, and it was really, really cool. And Tere's got the footage, so she'll show you.
Hey, I am super happy to be here today. And I went to the ATM before I got here, and I suggest that when it has the choice to do it in Spanish or English, I suggest you do it in Spanish. Because your account balance will look much better in pesos. It's like a bridge, I'm going to the Chicans. I'm wearing my alumni t-shirt. I just graduated from Fresno State. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm 62 years old. I went back to college and got a degree in digital journalism, and I graduated magna cum laude, which is really great. And but yeah, it's interesting going back to school when you're older, because you can I can with my student ID I can ride the bus for free and get a discount, senior citizen discount at Denny's. So it's like a win-win. Thank you very much. Yeah. But I'm an older woman, but sometimes when you're older you're like, well, I maybe don't have as much game as I used to, but I still feel kind of pretty, like I might be attractive, because I was at Walmart the other day, and this guy, he was like smoking a cigarette, and he's looking at me and he goes, "You really don't look like a hooker." And I'm like, that's because I'm not. I give it up for free. I'm a big slut from way back. Any other sluts in the crowd, raise your hand. Yay! And you're on your first date. Score, dude. You're getting it tonight. Boom, boom, now. We're supposed to wait, though, right? Yeah. I think sex is kind of weird, right? I remember like the first time like I would be like making out with like early on in my sexuality, and this guy, he would say, he wants you to touch him. It's like he called it he, like it was a little person or something. And this is really weird, but it can happen like over and over again, like 4 times a day, like he wants you. And I don't know about any other women out here. Like, I've never named my thing ever. Like, I never went, she wants you. My mother wants you. Give me a smoke, Oh, look, it's smoke rings. I smoke weed. Didn't we smoke weed here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Totally. Yeah. I had a a conversation with the guy. Well, I was on a date, and he took me to El Torito because, you know, I had a 2-for-1 discount. And he was like, I said, you know, I think they should legalize marijuana before it was legalized. And he goes, well, if you're going to legalize marijuana, you might as well just legalize crystal meth. And I'm like, you cannot compare pot smokers to tweakers. I mean, maybe they get their shit cleaned up, house cleaned up, and whatever. And I don't know if anybody's ever lived with a tweaker before. Like, you know, you turn on, you know, your remote control and your microwave goes off. You have wiring everywhere, you know, like, you know, it's like, what the hell's going on here? And then when they want you to do math, they try to sell it to you. They go, well, you know, Hitler made it. And that's how the Berlin Wall went up. And I'm like, this is your selling point? But I believe that the pot smoker and the tweaker can work together. Because the pot smoker will think up stuff and the tweaker will execute it. This is how we build a perfect society.
Yeah, but the tweaker was still the weed.
The tweaker will steal the weed, right?
Yeah, it can't be trusted.
They'll smoke it and they won't know what to do
They
with
won't even
it.
smoke it, they won't sell it, trade it for meth.
Right, trade it for meth, right. Okay, that's a little bit TMI over here. I'm about to let you know, like, so this is your first date? Oh my God, you know what? I was sitting back here and I had that feeling. I go, they're on a first date right now. And like, I'm gonna fuck with them now. No. So when you asked her out, like, how do you know him? How do you know this gentleman over here?
Just met him online.
You met him online? Ow! I know, I heard somebody go, holy shit. I don't trust online. You know, you don't even know what's going to happen. And they want you to sometimes sext. Like, I had a friend of mine who took a picture of her cooch and sent it to her poor mom. She's like, oh my God, what is this? You know, it's like the wrong person. But, you know, cyber sex can be really weird. And, you know, I was online one time. And I want to tell you, I was online and I was on my computer. And I was like, oops. Ooh, this is familiar. Okay, I was like, hi, how are you? I want to lick your twat. Okay. How long is your tongue? Because I live in Clovis, California. So, and they're like, how big? Because they go right for the juggler. Like, how big are your jugs? The left one is 26 nearly B. The right one is 36 double D. When I'm on my period. Period. Do the drapes match the carpet? No. I'm smooth like Flipper. Smiley face. Are you horny now? Of course I'm horny. I'm Catholic. Are you touching yourself now? I'm like, okay, how do people type and touch at the same time? Like, what is the guy doing? All right, that's my time. Thank you, guys.
And it's going to be on my upload as well. And there's a number of comics there, probably about several dozen, all coming up doing little 4 minutes pieces. And they were like, they were generally pretty good. I mean, some of them were hilarious. There was a lot. The jokes were often very quite politically incorrect. They were about Mexicans and things like that. I didn't.
But they were Mexican though.
Yeah,
like you got to clip. Like they were Mexicans making jokes about Mexicans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of the people like Latinos and that making jokes about the Latino people. And I didn't get all the jokes because I think a lot of them were like local in jokes, which I wouldn't necessarily understand. But it's like I was talking about the true Brexit geezer thing the other day. It's some humour is very, very dependent on knowledge of a local area. But I mean, they were really, really cool, and it was a great atmosphere there. And Terry and I had a lovely Italian meal. Have you finished yours yet, Terry?
Actually, you know, I did take the meal back home, and I was saving it. I could have eaten it last night, and thought, oh, should I eat all this at like this late at night? So I didn't eat it, but it's in the refrigerator, and I'll probably like eat it tonight.
Yeah, nice.
But then I have sandwiches. I don't know. Maybe we'll split it tomorrow. Maybe I'll share some of my with you with our smorgasbord
Yeah,
meal.
we do have some sandwiches. We were originally planning a picnic, but we thought it'd be easier just to make the food at home, you know. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go home when we're finished here, and we're going to have a little snack there. So
Yeah.
that's our smorgasbord, yeah, of various things. So, yeah, it's a great.
And now we have like you know, like pasta. It was meatballs, right, with bell
Yeah,
pepper.
lovely
did
sauce.
you like the sauce?
Yeah, delicious.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a lovely meal, and the guy who ran it's called David, and he's like really. He made jokes as soon as we came in. He's one of the comedians, you know, and it was like it had a nice atmosphere, very friendly people, and yeah, I just thought it's great to sit down and have a laugh. It always humour brings out the best in people, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, going back to like the you know, the Mexican jokes, right? Okay, I want to say something about that because in this area, the threat of ICE deporting people, and you know, like when I was at college, they were passing around cards for families, like what to do if ICE shows up and they pull your kid out of school, or a college student out of school. So you know, the communities were doing jokes like, you know, like there'd be a guy in the front row and they go, "We know hey, ICE is coming for you," you know, like this. Or there was one person that says, he was wearing a red hat, and he goes, is that a make America Great Again hat? It really wasn't, but they were joking around. He goes, yeah. He goes, I bet you're that family member when you have the other family member that gets deported, you're like, oh, fuck him, we hated him, he was an asshole, let him go ahead and be deported. That was like one of the funniest jokes for me. I know it's like totally inappropriate, but they were joking like that. And honestly, I was kind of surprised because you know, I think that stand-up comedy is always making a cultural comment on what's going on. And so when I saw this area making that harsh of a joke, you know, about what was going on, because a lot of people are very traumatized by it and taking it really seriously, and to hear them like be so rank like that, you know, it was just like, wow. But I think that's what happens culturally when things like that happen, is you have comedians come and they make that rank joke.
They do.
That you're like, oh, it's borderline offensive. Like, how dare you talk to those people? But you realize that this area is heavily Hispanic.
Oh yeah.
And so like a lot of the comics there's one comic that was Hmong. There was a Chinese, like, was he Chinese?
Yeah. He was
Asian,
one of the best, actually.
Right. Yeah. And so there was like all these, there's women, there's two women. I was one of the women, like, right. So.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like, there was several like jokes you could call risque, because you know, this guy said, well, my friend came to LA and he said I'd love to see Mexico, so I just took him downtown, you know. And it's true, you know, I went to Los Angeles and I was surprised that like over 3/4 of the people were like Hispanic, and you hear spoken languages almost all Spanish, but and all the signs are bilingual and things like that. But you see, very often when horrible things in this world happen, humour is actually a way of dealing with it and coping with it. And I mean, for example, doctors have a very sick sense of humour. I mean, you actually see it in some patients' notes. Some of the patients in intensive care who are really ill, you might see the acronym TF Bundy. Do you know what that stands for?
No.
Totally fucked, but unfortunately not dead yet.
Oh my God.
It sounds horrible. And indeed, they've never ever say that to a patient's relatives. No, you know, you've never got, they'd never use that in front of a patient relatives. But when communicating among themselves, they make these kind of sick jokes, and it's a way of coping. If they didn't do that, they'd go nuts. And I think comedy serves that purpose. You know, that's the more dark the humour, the more cathartic it is. And there was one guy. I mean, I won't repeat the joke because you can't even say it on YouTube. One guy made a joke. He's a Jewish guy. He made a joke about Jews, which you can't even say on YouTube. But he's Jewish, you know.
But here's the deal, though. I have to admit, I was kind of shocked by that joke. Like, there's a certain thing that happens in comedy, and you know, comics get in trouble for it. But I mean, there were some jokes that I was like, really borderline of like, are you making fun of disabled people? They were super freaking edgy. And for some reason the comedy club at the Chicos, right, is Clovis. First of all, you got to understand what Clovis, California is. Clovis, California is kind of like a they have a rodeo there. All right, it's considered to be very farmer community, cowboy, has money also as well, and they probably will vote Republican. However, I'm just saying it, like in Fresno, it's like this area is like touch and go.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
I know what you mean. It's like there's left wing humor and right wing humor. I mean, and both are equally funny. I must admit. And I mean, there were jokes about disabled people. I mean, the guy who told the funniest disabled jokes was actually clearly a cerebral palsy sufferer. And
right.
And he was actually one of the comics. He was actually very good. There was also a guy who made fun of deaf people. And I suppose, and there was a guy who there was a white guy making fun out of white people, and no one laughed louder than me. It's like, I mean, I can laugh at these jokes even though they're offensive against my own race. Do you see what I mean? And I think that's the good thing about humor. Humor is almost like it's almost like it creates a sense of unity almost, and good nature. And it's a weird kind of paradox. But the darker the humour,
right,
the more that effect exists. Strangely enough.
But there is like, okay, there is dark humor, and then there is like humor that some clubs won't accept. Some places, like what they were saying, it just depends on where you're at and what the audience is and whatever. But what I like about, and not every show had, because I've been in that club like a few times, and they've had a variety of comedians talking a variety of things, and I noticed a little bit of a difference with the comedians, that there was a lot of like joking and race jokes, and I feel that that's indicative to the tension that's actually really happening with us, especially here in the United States. And yes, California was originally the Mexicans owned this land before we were here. So the reason why Spanish is the second language is because, and I'm half Mexican, so this is like a lot of part of our culture. But if you are part of that culture, they can make jokes about themselves, but you can't be like not Mexican and then make Mexican jokes. I mean, it's a fine line. Like maybe, but you have to be some sort of minority in order to make fun of another minority. But if you're a white guy, you came in and you were just a total white guy and you said the jokes to what they said about themselves in the club and what was going on, you could probably get canceled.
You may well. I mean, like I say, it depends on the room. I mean, some comedians. I've been to comedy clubs where there are very sort of like I suppose you say risque jokes about people of different colours, but I think it's because this one I went to was very working class, so there was not much sort of like rejection. Even the non-white people in the room didn't object, But again, it depends. You've got to read the room. But I mean, I do understand there's a difference between being who you are and the kind of jokes you tell in according to conventional standards. So, for example, there's on TV in my country, the only comedians who like parody black people are black comedians like Lenny Henry, and he does it very well. His whole act is almost a parody of black people and black culture. And
well, I mean, that's kind of like what the Dave Chappelle show was originally. I mean, he was like, and he got criticized by other, like I think Bill Cosby criticized him and said, you know what, you're making black people look bad because you're showing the bad side of us. But in a way, that it's kind of what comedy is. I mean, comedy is not like being like perfection, and in many ways, do you know that stand-up comedy is an American art form? It actually originated here, and there's three things that America has actually, included in that we've created, not another country, is jazz music, the American musical, and stand-up comedy actually started in America and spread to other places in the world.
That's true, actually, and it's. I mean, America has given other. This is not America's only gift to the world. The United States.
Oh, of course.
But it's true. These things did originate. I didn't know that about stand-up comedy. I knew about jazz. It was an American phenomenon. But I mean, some of the best stand-up comics are actually American. And my favourite stand-up comedian is probably Bill Hicks, who was hilarious. Sadly, he died just when his career was taking off, which is very sad. At a very young age, I think he was 32 or 33. But he was just brilliant. I can still watch him today. He's side-splitting, and his observational skills and the way he comes across is just so good. And George Carlin is another one. Both Bill and George were very, very satirical, and I love satirical humour. That is humour that makes the kind of political point, and like a political satire. I love humour like that, and they were both very good at that. Great stand-up comics for that. They had I suppose they had a more kind of middle-class base among their audience than most stand-up comics, which are in my country it's primarily a working-class vice in my country. But Bill and George were more sort of like attracted a more middle-class audience. I think because they were more intellectual than most. So very, very sadly missed. I think they're both gone.
Well, yeah, and to be honest with you, Bill Hicks is one of my favorite comedians as well. Like, people go, well, who did you really like? And I said, Bill Hicks, George Carlin, and they would always come up with a lot of people because he was really saying something about the culture. And same thing with, George Carlin's last set. He was talking about, the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it. That's why they call it the American dream,
yeah.
Right? Because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Yeah.
And, one of the last shows that Bill Hicks did, and that guy, it's just a dream. Do you know how
it's just a ride?
Yeah, it's just a ride. Oh,
it's wonderful. Yeah, it's about his philosophy and his spirituality, because he was a very spiritual man. I mean, he was not religious, and he didn't believe in any organized religion. In fact, he mocked Christianity ruthlessly and hilariously. But at the end of the day, he was a great believer in the soul and the afterlife, and he said that, and the idea that the world is somehow our creation. He says life is like a ride in an amusement park. It's very brightly coloured and loud. It goes up and down. It has thrills and chills. It's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they think, is this real or is this just a ride? And others have remembered and they come back to it. I find it moving to talk about it, actually. So others have remembered and they come back and they say, don't worry ever, because this is just a ride. And we kill those guys. We kill the good guys who tell us that, and we let the little demons run amok. But it doesn't matter, because it's just a ride, and we can change it any time we like. It's just a choice between fear and love. And I just think that's just so wonderful, considering his demise at a young age. It was just wonderful.
Right, and that last
feel
line.
The same way, don't
I
you?
mean, I cry.
Yeah.
I also cry during that part, and
he's a great believer in the spiritual value of certain drugs, and in fact, he has loads of jokes.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. His weed jokes are great, and because in America, okay, I still remember this joke. In America, we had this commercial where you would see like a fried egg go in the pan, and they go, "This is your brain," and they go, and then it would be frying. They go, "This is your brain on drugs," like your brain's like frying. And a lot of comics had jokes about it, but he had it where he's like, I used to do drugs, some drugs, whatever. And he goes, I wake up in the morning and they go, the egg would be fried. I'm like, oh look, it's brunch or it's breakfast, fry it up. He's like, just. I'm paraphrasing, not saying exactly like him. You had his routine down more than I ever would, but I think like in its best form, comedy can really tell the truth. What was it? That writer, Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
He said the only way to tell the truth and not get assassinated is to be funny. And right.
Mm.
So the court jester could always make fun of the king, and yet underlying in comedy is an element of honesty in almost any joke, even if it's like exaggerated. But I really thought that Bill Hicks was quite prolific, and had a message to his comedy. And I always like wanted to do, I want to do that. I was like, to me, that's the ultimate, is to have something that not only like makes people laugh, but actually makes them, you know, think about something. I mean, I don't know if I don't
Oh, yeah,
consider
definitely.
myself to achieve that, but I do have some material about being in that dispensary and the raid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that has a little bit of, or is trying to build that to have a little bit of a meaning. I don't know if I've accomplished it though.
Oh well, I'm sure you you'll think of some great comedy moments, even though it's a terrifying experience in your life and very upsetting.
Right.
But yeah, it's like I mean, Bill Hicks was the good news is a lot of his material was filmed in the last couple of years of his life, and his short but career was recorded, and you can find these recordings everywhere. So I never discovered him until many years after he died, and he's no doubt he'll continue to attract new fans. And he said, and yeah, I mean he was. Talking about, I love it when he's talking about weed. His weed joke. He said, I hear the government want to ban people from smoking weed and then driving, like it's alcohol. You must be joking. You must be joking. Why ban weed smokers from driving when you're on weed? I mean, everyone's only going along at 5 miles an hour. Oh, did I just fuck you? Oh. And I said, oh, there's a policeman. He's going to get my number. Yeah, he did the chassis number. Things like that. And he said, oh, he was cool. I can't really do his credit, his routine, just by repeating it, but you can find some of them on YouTube.
There's a really great documentary out there about Bill Hicks, and you know, it was on Netflix for a while, and he had a friend that he grew up with that was up from the Seattle area, and they started doing stand-up comedy when they were like teenager, like 12 and 13 years old. It was their dream, and both of them did. And you know, getting to like the Terrence McKenna aspect of everything, he was a big proponent of mushrooms, and now there are different states that are working towards making that legal, and there's actually, it's being used in psychotherapy. But he, you know, was always about like, that was about what expanded your mind, and of course, like, that was something that Terrence McKenna talked about, and so Bill Hicks was
And there is a change of culture when it comes to the use of therapeutic drugs. The fact that some Class A drugs actually used in the right way, are beneficial. And one of the pioneers of this is a Hungarian guy called Stanislav Grof, who he actually practiced most of his career in the United States, actually. And he worked closely with a guy called Ken Wilber, who's a philosopher, a transpersonal psychologist and philosopher. But you know, Rick Strassman is another great name in this field, and he actually did DMT experiments with people. Now, DMT is a Schedule 1 drug, and indeed there's an entire chapter in his book, DMT, the Spirit Molecule, which is simply about the hoops he had to jump through the medical regulators and the scientific, just simply to get permission to use this drug with consenting adult volunteers at the Albuquerque Medical Center, the research at the medical school there. And it's just like, so it's such a good thing. It appears that these substances, it's almost like many of them synthetic, like DMT is a natural substance, it exists in nature, but it can only be consumed orally when adding another substance. So in the Amazon jungle, for example, the native people there, they've discovered what they call a chacruna plant, which has a lot of DMT in it. But you no matter how much of it you eat, you could swallow a dozen of these leaves, they'll have no effect on you at all, because you have something in your stomach called monoamine oxidase, which destroys DMT on contact when it's digested. But you combine it with something else called the ayahuasca vine, the vine of souls, and that contains a monoamine oxidase inhibitor. So it stops your body temporarily from producing monoamine oxidase, which means you can actually digest the DMT properly, and that creates this brew called ayahuasca. I'm such an anorak. I remember all these details. Yeah, I'm such a geek. It's, you know, it's and according to the Amazon Indians, people ask them, well, how did you combine? Yeah, there's 40,000 species of plants. The chances of you combining these two together are like, I think, 1 billion to 1, getting the right combination by accident. And they said, the spirits told us how to do it. They said, do this and you'll be able to communicate with us more efficiently. And so it's almost like a form of spiritual technology. And people like Graham Hancock have studied it in great detail, and it was a really, really interesting thing. But it appears as if like the divine, the God, if you want, is trying to find ways to reach us, and sometimes it is through these chemicals.
Yeah, I mean, there's a you know, a belief that maybe it's like how Terrence McKenna would put it. It's like it's like you take this mushroom or whatever, and it's like you get a new heart, like you upgraded into a new hard drive, and it would open up spots in your mind spiritually or enlightenment or on reality. I was thinking maybe we could walk a little bit over there while we talk.
Yes,
And
sure.
how about you want to like hold the camera?
Yeah, sure.
And
If you'll grab these things.
You can even point it towards me if you want. I want to put my shoes on because I don't want to get cat.
Goose. Yeah, Terry has managed to get some goose droppings on her foot.
Shower now.
Yeah, well,
or wash my feet.
you can wash your feet in the lake. I mean, you maybe wash your feet in the lake.
Yeah, you know what? I'm also like, should I try to wash my feet in the lake? I mean, you know, I'm also worried about like the quality of water now. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I know the lake looks lovely, but I'm not sure the lake is sanitary.
Possibly not.
Maybe
Okay.
They're pooping in the lake too. You know, I mean,
You have to wash them when you get home. Yeah. But yeah, it is a beautiful, beautiful spot, and it's just like it's really, really lovely here, and it's a great place to like think about these sorts of subjects. I think too.
If you in the camera, like let me show you something. In the camera, if you want to turn it to you, just tap it right there. Tap it like that, and it brings that way, and then you can go back that way.
Oh, it's got face track, so it follows your face.
Exactly. So I'm gonna put my shoes on. I mean, I could have stopped the recording, but why? Maybe this part. Maybe
you can always edit it out, you know.
Because we wanted a live stream out here, and we did bring our other devices, and also I love the way this camera is. So I was wanting to take other kind of footage, anyways, besides live stream. But we don't have enough of a signal out here at Millington Lake. But I just want to like give a little bit more of the beauty of how beautiful this particular area is, and we should probably take our bags.
Oh, definitely, and we'll take these things. You might have to put this in there. This is a fresh one that you haven't drunk yet.
Oh,
you've got room in there for that.
Oh, I got my electronics in here.
Okay, no, I can hold two in one hand. That's all right.
Maybe we're gonna come back here, so I'm not worried about the Cokes.
Well, I mean, we can pass a trash can and.
Yeah, but we're gonna come back.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like wanting to go like walk around here a little bit. We're not gonna go that far.
Okay, no problem.
So,
right, here we go then. Here we go.
Yeah, and then if you want, I'll take over. Yeah. So, okay, let's go.
Let's go and have a little walk around. Yeah.
All right. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that.
They're quite curious, actually. When we were wrestling with the parking ticket dispenser, they were coming up and watching us. They were like really fascinated, and we had a captive audience. They were enraptured by us. But Terry got some good photographs of one of them, which is good.
I did. I got some pretty decent ones, and then you got some stuff. I think I couldn't get that one shot of them crossing the road when they looked like they were the Beatles. I don't know if you've got that. Okay, so we're coming over here, and they're running away from us. Look, but I'm gonna.
Hey, we don't want to disturb you. We're just walking past. We're just walking past, geesies and duckies. Oh, there's a heron. You see the heron?
Oh wow!
He's handsome and he knows it. Yeah. It's a stalker.
Wow. Yeah, this is just a beautiful.
It's a great place to come and relax and just like take in the atmosphere. Every city needs a place like this.
Yeah. And it's so hot here, you know, so like to have a lake in the middle of this kind of heat, it's kind of like unusual.
Yeah. Luckily today's weather was slightly cooler than it was yesterday. It was really hot yesterday. Today it's slightly cooler. Relatively speaking, of course. Still hot by my standards.
Yeah, I just wanted to come over and get like a quick little shot, you know, because I know that this camera can take a really pretty picture.
Careful it doesn't overheat.
It'll be okay for a few minutes. Yeah, but the thing of like filming out here in this heat is you got to be careful of your cameras.
Yeah,
That's
if
why
you
it's
too long. If you keep it in the heat too long, they break. They stop working. If it's too hot. Yeah, look, these ones are a bit brave, I think. They can sit there and sleep while we walk past.
there's like a white one.
They must be used to people walking.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like there's people here all the time, so I think that they have gotten used to people. I mean, like there's one that let me come up and like just photograph it so perfectly was amazing. So
Yeah, it's just really, there's a bit of a breeze up now, which is nice.
yeah. Well, so what else do you feel like you gave? Like, what else have you observed in Fresno that you think?
Oh well, there's some, it seems to have a nice atmosphere. It's different from Los Angeles. I mean, which is a bit of a weird place, really. I mean, Los Angeles is like this massive metropolis that seems to consist entirely of only two types of building. There are 100-foot tall skyscrapers or bungalows. There's like these islands of like giant tall skyscrapers in downtown, you know, near where the bus station is. And then you go out just a little way, suddenly you get these bungalows, thousands of bungalows for miles and miles and miles. It's like everyone has to live in a bungalow. It's like the LA people never invented stairs. It's literally like that. My friend Gareth lived in a bungalow, and I actually went to visit it because he died, and he lived in this. He's a Welshman, but he lived in this city for most of his life, and in LA. And so I went to find him, and I tried to find his grave as well, which I failed to do. But I mean, he may not have a grave because he was cremated, and it's possible they just scattered him. His family just scattered him. So, but I did try, and it was nice to try that. So I had to walk around Los Angeles, and I thought about that. Fresno's very different. Fresno's a smaller, kind of like quieter place, and it's people generally seem to be quite calm here. I've got a hotel where the door lock doesn't work, which is a bit frustrating. I have to get the concierge to let me into the room. There's no hot water in it. But, what do you expect for $239? You know, it's there's some nice murals as well and graffiti, and I'm a great admirer of non-conformist folk art. And Fresno has a lot of that. It's very interesting. I try to capture as much as possible of it, and of course I'm meeting Tere Joyce, who's someone I've known for a long time, online for I think 10 years or more.
Has it been that long?
Has it been that long? Maybe. I started listening to. I listened to you on AFR like surely 10 years ago.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I remember.
I didn't know you
Freedom of
listened to
Joyce.
me on AFR.
Freedom of Joyce, yeah, and
Oh wow.
and I didn't catch all your shows, but I caught most of them, and so it's nice to meet her at last because I've got to know her better, and we've collaborated on several projects, which is really, really cool. So that's been a real highlight.
Well, of course. I mean, listen to me. Of course, I'm the highlight. No, I mean, I feel like I'm thinking like I'm the reason why you came here, right? It's not like you went to. I want to go to Fresno because I want to see like this other calm place that's not really LA, but you know, not really.
Yeah, my main reason for coming to the US was to go to the Contacts in the Desert conference.
Yeah, right.
I combined it with a visit to Terry.
Yeah, but you took a detour.
Yeah, after I said last year because Terry couldn't make the conference. I said, well, I'll make time and take a special trip before I go home to come and see you. And so I promised I'd do that, and I have.
I really appreciate that because I've had a really great time, and you know, like we went to the Mexican restaurant, we went and got that one, you know, we had the whole experience there, we live streamed, we've had really great conversations about things, and kind of like compared notes and you know, what we think is going on. You know, Ben, which is really great, Ben and I like kind of have different takes on different stuff, but I think we're still on the same, we still have the same wishes.
Yeah, I think we do.
For like the same purposes, and you know, we're still open-minded to consider the other person's thought of what they
definitely.
think is real.
I mean, we both seem to be the kind of people who can address dissent and disagreement in a civilized, friendly manner, and not everyone can do that. You know, a lot of people just get angry when you disagree with them, but Terry and I don't. We just, I think I understand, and Terry understands, we're all trying to make our way through this informational maze that is the alternatives, the conspirasphere, alternative sphere, and as how it connects to the mainstream and things like this. And sometimes we go down different paths, but both of us, I think, want simply to see the world as a better place, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, when I got involved in American Freedom Radio and those networks, what was called the Truth Media, we thought, I think a lot of us that took were creating content, were wanting to give, first of all, we felt that the mainstream media wasn't giving the whole story, and so it was a very exciting time where people were just getting up and doing their own research. Although the thing that I feel that I made a mistake in is now that I've gone to school of journalism, you really need to fact check stuff. And when you're really trying to say facts, I mean, even if you're going into conspiracy and into theoretical stuff, you can do that. But to say it as if it's an actual fact and there's no other reality besides what you're speculating is, that I have a problem and a concern about that. Yeah. Because we still have to if you're wanting to convince and say, well, this is reality. Who has, in a sense, from a philosophical standpoint, what is reality? One of the essays that I wrote in my critical thinking English class was I explored reality, and I went into there were in real we had to use real sources about it, but I got Elon Musk saying we're we're blank percentage of not living in base reality, and all these different kind of concepts. But just in some of the stuff that we think is going on in the world, I've said that I felt that a lot of people forced it or said this is the way it is, and that and they were very not saying allegedly or possibly or we think this might be, because you really have to prove whether something is a fact or not. Yeah. And unfortunately, when you're talking about conspiracies and UFO and stuff like that, I think a lot of the people that get on YouTube and say things that they are kind of following information from people that may not have been as diligent in their research either, or is clear with people. Yeah. And so that is as when being in that media, I started to question that, how I mean, because, and even the mainstream media isn't perfect either, but they're right. Okay, so but I think that I don't know, that's just my thing. Oh, look at the baby geese. It's a mommy. I don't want to scare them though. I want to see if I can get them.
Aren't they cute? Yeah.
Oh, look
there
at
once
that.
was an ugly duckling. Don't remember the ugly duckling. I love that story. The ugly duckling that turned into a swan. But, I'm very wary of the zealot in this business. I mean, whether it's from a mainstream position or in the alternative world, because there are alternative researchers and alternative media stars who are as narrow-minded as any mainstream position. And there's nothing wrong with, when I say follow these people, there's nothing wrong with following them on Twitter or subscribing to them on YouTube and listening to what they have to say. But just do bear in mind, entertain the idea without necessarily accepting it, because that's the mark of an educated mind. I think it was Socrates said that. Just entertain the idea, but don't accept it, and be wary of the people who are just too doctrinaire. Mm-hmm. The 9/11. The 9/11 person who agrees there's suspicious elements to 9/11, but hates the no-planers. No-planers are scum and things like that. Avoid those kind of people, or at least don't take what they say with a pinch of salt. It's ironic actually, but those kinds of people, the true believers, that the firebrands, they are the ones most likely to change their mind and become skeptics. Yeah, not the people. I mean, see, I went to a skeptic conference a few months ago called QED. This is in Manchester, UK. It was a weekend conference in Manchester for skeptics. And I went to it. I didn't tell him who I was. I just went along. I mean, I thought some of them I think recognised me, but I just went along there. I listened. I spoke to people, and when I got back, and someone left a comment under the video, Ben, why are you going to skeptic conferences? Why are you doing this? You might become a skeptic yourself if you're not careful. And my answer to that is, ironically and almost paradoxically, I'm less likely to become a skeptic than that person is there, that person who asked that question, because I can't rule it out. But I think it's unlikely because I already know their arguments. I've looked at both sides of this issue, and I have more tolerance for differing views, which means I think I'm more secure. I feel I'm more secure in what I actually do think is true. I don't know for certain. I'll change my mind if I have to. I have changed my mind about certain things. Do you remember when I was a Boris Johnson fan? Now I can't stand the guy because he betrayed us. He changed. He shows his true colours. And I mean, Trump. I think Donald Trump has not lived up to the expectation of many who supported him. I mean, since he's been back, he has not done what he's promised to do. And I think there's signs that he may also have been compromised, or maybe he always was. And the thing, as long as
The cold, turning wild on the stripper pole, laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. He ain't no Saint Germain, no crime, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Caught in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Caught in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole.
Okay, and that was the end of the first part of Tere's latest video, and now we're going to go on to the second one.
Well, this is a place that neither of us have been to before. So
Right.
First, even though Tere lives much closer, she's never actually been here yet. So
Right.
That's an interesting.
So yeah, I'm kind of excited about this. Shenzhen.
It's a Japanese-style garden through that gate there. So
It's a friendship garden.
very nice, yeah. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
seeing this. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Let's go in there.
So I just wanted to capture some.
Oh, look at the koi in there.
Yeah.
It's like the Hecklefish's big brother. Lizard people. Look at them, man. They're massive. Oh, look at something.
Oh wow.
Oh, they're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah. They're like almost coming over here.
They had a load of these koi. Like Hecklefish's big brother. Lizard people. Yeah, nice. There's a lovely little pond here in this the bridge there.
Oh! Yeah, he did. He sure did. He wants to be filmed, I guess. Show off. Wow.
Lovely.
Look at that. Oh my goodness.
Good. I think we could choose a name. Please.
That's a peacock. Oh my god. Let me get
The only
closer.
draws attention by when I'm looking at these Tony Goslings. Tony Gosling.
I wonder how close I can
Off the
get.
stage. No. That's a nice one. Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, very small. Very handsome when he knows it. Isn't he? He's coming towards us. He likes to be admired.
Wow. I wonder if he'll open
He's
his
not going to spread his feathers out for us, but
amazing.
he knows he's being watched. He knows people are admiring him. Look at him doing a twirl. Whoa.
Oh.
It's going past. It's weird. Those shapes in the feathers look really weird when he does that, when he shakes them. It's like an optical illusion. Beautiful, eh? Yes.
Magnificent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's...
Oh, this is just truly beautiful. Really. This is kind of a great way to like end, right?
This is a beautiful location that Terry's brought us to, on this Japanese garden. Just watching the fish and the birds. It's so nice.
Let's go over this bridge and go this way. Or we can go around this way. I mean, there's so many different areas. They do like all kinds of like, they do like yoga and meditation stuff out here, and they have events sometimes. We can't get any closer. Is that what it said?
Sorry?
We can't go up into the water that way, or?
Yeah. And we could, oh, there's no path. We've got to stay on the path. I don't know if there's a path down that way. There might be. Presented to the city of Fresno. Japanese.
What does it say?
Events presented to the city of Fresno by the Fresno County Japanese YMA, not YMA, it's the YMA League. August 1939.
Huh.
That's the peacock. This lake, I think it's a part of the lake that we were
Yeah,
looking at earlier.
yeah, it's all part of the same lake. It's just another side of it.
Yeah, look at the farm, a different side of
I think we can even sit right here. You want to?
it. Yeah, you know, he's under an Illuminati pyramid, but
This
if you
is
look
not.
at it, look, it's got the detached capstone.
Where is it?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
probably that matters. Doesn't mean that it's.
We're gonna sit underneath the Illuminati pyramid. Oh, look at that! Look at that view.
That's good, isn't it?
So here we are at the Japanese Gardens Shenzhen, and we are just out here taking and look at everything. You know,
Yeah, this is a lovely spot here underneath. It's actually an Illuminati style pyramid with a detached capstone, but it's actually just this like parapet with a little cap at the top. They often make that. Detached pyramid, but, it's peaceful, it's quiet, it's natural, it's a well designed garden, but it has like a respect for nature, which I really like, and it's a good place to come. They do yoga and they do meditation, and they contemplate the meaning of reality and things like that, which is a tricky subject which we still don't know, but you may have heard the simulation hypothesis. We're all basically created by some giant supercomputer on some alien planet.
yeah, but do you really think that this beauty right here is actually like? It's hard for me to believe that this isn't a simulation.
Yeah, it's divine, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like you come out here, and I just feel like I automatically feel calmer by just being in this atmosphere. It's like, you know, it's almost like you want to. It's got like, I mean, we saw a peacock, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we literally saw a peacock.
Yeah, we did,
Yeah.
and it was very nice. Should we hold it? Are you alright?
No, I'm fine. Yeah. So, yeah, we literally saw a peacock.
It was great. It was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it was a beautiful bird. It didn't spread his feathers out for us, but of course they're lovely to see. And of course we have colours. There's colours and green, blue, multicoloured feathers. And of course, like the theory is, well, these physically are just, all they are literally is interpretations of our brain of wavelengths of light. But to me, that doesn't make them any less real. It doesn't mean they're somehow illusion, even if they are literally. This isn't this idea that this goes back to the Matrix and things like that. But it's not a new idea. I mean, Plato, long before computers were invented, the philosopher Plato said that the universe is shadows on the wall of a cave, and that they've been cast by something real, and the real thing, the Platonic perfection, is somewhere beyond our perception. See, I don't know. Do you think that's true, Terry?
What?
That we're living in a Platonic cave and we're just shadows, and the whole universe is just a shadow.
No, I don't think so. I think that there is a physical universe, and there's a planet Earth, and Woodward Park and the Shinzen Garden is part of it, and so it's the amazing it's nature. There's a whole ecosystem here that depends on everything around him. Every animal, every part, every bug, everything is part of maintaining the balance of what's happening in nature. So I don't think that you could say that that this is like Plato's cave. I think when the reference to Plato's cave is more about like things that are happening in your life or your environment, or like you can even compare it to like targeted harassment, right? Or what you think fears you, what you're afraid of. All these images against it's a metaphor of other things that you think are bigger than they really are, and then when you come out of the cave you realize, oh wait a second, it wasn't that. I mean, I thought that's what Plato's cave was about. Do I have the wrong interpretation of that?
I'm not sure actually. I'm actually not 100% sure exactly. I'd have to look it up about the true allegory of the cave. But what things are, in a sense, I know what they feel like. I know what I can see. I know what I understand about this world, and that to me is as real as anything else I can perceive. I know I exist. I know there's people around me who are important to me. I feel love for them. And these things I can't imagine anything being more real than that. And so I behave as if they're real, regardless of their sort of factual nature. I love the world. I love my life. I love other people. I love myself. And it's supposed to be conceited to say you love yourself. But why? It doesn't mean I think I'm better than anyone else. I'm big-headed, but I do feel love for myself. I feel if I met myself as another person, I'd like that person. That's the kind of person I want to be. That's the person I try to be.
Right. Well, they say that you have to, in order to love other people, you have to actually like love yourself. Yeah. So like it starts with yourself. And let's go to another location.
There's none of this. It's main road by noise. Yeah. There's a Japanese word that can't be translated in English. That means what the sun looks like when it's poking through the leaves of a tree. If you know what that word is, please let me know. But it's untranslatable. But I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, there's a bit of trivia that I suddenly remembered.
What was the word?
I don't know. It's a Japanese word that it doesn't exist in English.
Oh.
It means what the sun. It describes the sunlight shining through the branches of a tree, partly obscured. I'll put this in my pocket. I'm scared of dropping it. I love these rock pools. These rocky streams are really, really nice, aren't they?
Walk ahead a little bit. Okay, wait, hold on. breathtaking. It really is. It's so calming out here. Now, when I lived in Fresno, when I was growing up, this lake and Woodward Park existed, but the Japanese garden did not exist. So this opened up like since, and they're saying it's closed, but what is it over there?
One side collection, that's miniature trees.
Oh, and it's closed.
It is closed.
But here, let's see if we can.
Peek through.
Can we film over there? Can we get? Let me see.
You can see them. Little tiny trees. It's the Japanese art of growing miniature trees. I don't know exactly how they do that, but there's some way of doing it apparently.
I'm not sure what I'm seeing there, but I hope maybe I caught
I can just
something.
about. Kind of lift you up.
And we get in trouble and we get kicked out, right?
One of the advantages of being tall until you actually hit your head on a low ceiling and realise there's advantages of being short.
And is there anything that way? Oh, I think that just leads.
There's restrooms there.
Oh, good.
Do you need them?
I don't need to use the restroom yet. Do you need to use it?
No, it should be.
Okay. It's kind of like one of those outhouses. I'm not a fan of the outhouse.
There's a palm garden here.
Yeah, look. So let's go see what's on this other side over here. Look at this right in there. Isn't that gorgeous? There's like a waterfall coming up here, coming off of the rocks. I just find the sound of water like this to be so soothing.
It is, yeah. I remember when I went to a huge waterfall on the Isle of Man, and just sit in front of it for hours, enjoy it. It's great here, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's lovely, hypnotic.
it really
hypnotic
is.
place.
Like, you know, I can even like sit back here for a second and, you know, like.
I'll catch you if you fall.
Yeah. Okay. So this is winter.
Winter.
I thought it said winter. I'm like, walk down there. I guess we can sit in that chair too, and there's like a chair here. And like they're all like doing their thing here. Oh, there's the peacock again.
Still hanging around, being admired.
So let's see what's over here.
One of the polished marble grave. It's like a gravestone, isn't it? All polished marble gravestone.
What are these? Oh, it looks like.
Manholes, I think that's the technical thing.
Yeah, this is like probably.
They're like carved rocks, they're carving rocks.
Like what?
They're natural rocks that have been shaped into a particular shape. Just not sculpted actually, but still just.
You don't think that's naturally shaped?
I think they move them, change them slightly. They don't make detail carvings, but they change them slightly. There's more up there. And they change them slightly to make them look less like something, like vaguely like something, but not very. It's like they believe it has a spirit called Kami, K-A-M-I, and this is like a soul which exists within the land. It's a bit like Feng Shui.
They
It's Japanese.
Yeah. Oh wow. Like there's a really good, like a minute I got here, there's like a positive vibe. There's like eons, you know, it's so relaxing.
I can feel it too.
I think we came this way before.
We did.
There's like the koi fish and everything else. Let's see what's over. Like, I feel like there's more to this that we might. Ben is signing his book for me, and so I thought I would document this. So, all right, I'm going to flip the camera around.
Well, I'm going to say something that J.K. Rowling never says. Have you got a pen?
Do I have a pen?
Yeah, you've got a pen. Yeah, I'm not that professional, unfortunately.
I'm sorry, I was like adjusting the frame there.
That's all right. But this is the book, Roswell Revealed: A World After Disclosure. It's the second part of the Roswell trilogy. So this is the entire trilogy here: Roswell Rising, Roswell Revealed, Roswell Redeemed. So it's the entire Roswell trilogy. You can see the blurb there.
Okay.
Which tells you what the book's about, basically, without any spoilers.
All right. So you want me to go get a pen? You want to film me for a second when I go get the pen?
We'll do. Yeah.
Okay.
This is wicked. I like this. This camera's wicked, mate. Look, I go like that. I wobble it to side, and it just stays level.
Right.
That's amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Osmo it's called.
Osmo's Pocket 3. Okay, here's the pen.
Oh, great. Okay,
Hopefully it works right. If it doesn't...
It's a Kalos pen, right? Here we go.
Okay, that one might be like not great.
Let me just
Or
test
here,
it.
you know what? Film me again. That's not the good pen.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh.
I always give it a little scrape on something.
Sometimes I think that pen is like running out of ink.
All right.
You know what? I gave Danny a pen last night when he booked me to the cannabis club, and no, he gave it back to me.
All right.
Comics with no pens.
No, it's
Writers with no pens.
I
How
know.
is that?
What sort of man of letters am I when I don't even have a pen? Yeah, no famous author does this, but anyway, here we go.
Right.
Here we go. So, okay, so to Terry. Fresno, 2025. Best wishes.
Oh, can I?
Right.
Let me get closer.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ben.
You're very welcome.
And then which book, which trilogy? Because you wrote 3 books, right?
They're all part of the same story. So you can get more out of this if you read the first one. But I would have got one for you, but I have sold them all. I sold them all to Contact in the Desert. I bought 2 copies and I sold them both. I couldn't carry any more than that, and I sold them both to people at the event. So I've only got the second and third one left. So I've got 1 copy of the second one and this one here for the third. But this is the second one, and there's and this one I've just given to Terry because she's been really good to me. We've had a lovely weekend. And this is a way of saying thank you very much, and it's great to meet her.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thanks.
Hope you enjoy it. Hey.
Hey. Mexican restaurant, and I have huevos rancheros. Maybe I'll just show you right here. I'm not quite finished yet, but actually, I'm going to give the phone over to Ben, and he, I'm going to let him, I take a few more bites.
All right. Hello, yeah, I'm Ben Emlyn Jones. I'm here with the awesome Tere Joyce, and it has been a wonderful, we had a lovely couple of days together here in Fresno. We've been exploring. We went to a park where you may have seen the video. You will do it. It's not uploaded yet, but you will see the video where we go around this beautiful park. And we're now having breakfast. And I can't remember what this is in Spanish, but it's basically, there's hash brown and bacon and like wraps and things like that. And so I thought I've got to go home soon. So after I've been here a long time over here, going to Contact in the Desert.
So Ben, what are your major highlights? What are the major highlights that you have experienced Hey, we got somebody in the chat. Hi. Okay, so we are actually because I wasn't sure if it was gonna work, but we've got 5G here, at the restaurant, at Lucy's restaurant in downtown Fresno. So Ben's going back on Amtrak, and
Who's there? Who's in chat?
hey, okay, hey, Mister, I like you. You have a kind face, not you, him. Oh, thank you.
I think Terry does as well, but we both got fine faces.
Well, I've got haters that are just waiting to say something ugly in the morning. What?
They get up early just to
Right.
Sad men, sad people.
But thank you for being here. And being ugly in the morning, and letting us know that I'm actually live streaming, because that confirmed that we are live.
You've done us a favour. Sorry to disappoint you.
Sorry to disappoint you, but your purpose is over now. Okay, so Ben, let me ask you, what were maybe your main highlights?
Right. I mean, apart from seeing
Here.
you.
Apart from seeing me.
Obviously, seeing Terry's number one. Number two, it's got to be the Contacting the Desert conference. That was fantastic, and I recommend it to anyone, any of you UFO wackadoos out there. You could go to it, please do. It was absolutely brilliant. It's there's a community spirit there, and there's information, and there's like a chance to hang out and listen to speakers, get new information, to learn and to develop and to be inspired. And goodness me, they're not paying me for this, I swear. It's not advertising. That is how I feel about it. And I'm so glad I went back. I really am, because I went last year and I loved every minute of it. And even when I was there, I thought, I've got to come back next year. I've got to come back. Yeah, so that, I think, is really, really good. I'm really glad I went to that. So, and thanks to everyone. And some of you watching may well have been there. So, because I know Terry and I share a lot of viewers, so I might have seen you there, in which case let me know if you were there.
Yeah, and just to give a little update about we did yesterday, we went to the Shenzhen Gardens, which is and we are going to upload this footage, and we did some interviews. We wanted to live stream, but we didn't have enough Wi-Fi, out at the lake, because there's a whole lake and everything like that to do it. I tried it, and then it kind of, was still, but, we got pictures of peacocks. A peacock was actually opened up its feathers, and it was just so amazing. And, when we first went into the parking, right, there were all these geese that were just walking across. It reminded me of the Beatles, show, but, yeah, it's been real fun having Ben here, and we got to we went to the comedy club.
Yes.
We
went to the comedy club. You'll be seeing that soon. Terry's going to upload everything we recorded. Terry will upload on her channel. I've got my own repertoire coming on my channel, Ben the JR Porter, and so you're going to see the highlights of our experience here. So please do. Don't forget to subscribe to Tere Joyce, not my rabbit hole with Tere Joyce, and Ben of the JR Porter on YouTube and Rumble and other places.
Yeah, and Ben and I do not always agree on every UFO reporting, and so we thought it would be a really good idea for us to do a show about certain topics and debate with our point of views on it. And so hopefully you guys might find that interesting, because I think we need to have some solid, respectful debate on the validity of UFO claims. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, we have been discussing these things privately. There are a lot of issues in ufology which I think need to be discussed and need to be addressed, and that some of the controversies need to be sorted out. And if there's people willing to do this, people, for example, who are able to interact without screaming and shouting at each other and calling each other names, which Terry and I can do. In terms of disagreement, then I think these discussions need to happen. And so Terry and I, we've already come up with a subject, which perhaps we'll reveal at a later date, which I think you're going to like.
Yeah, I think so too. So, and we're gonna proceed with that.
Yeah.
and have more fun, right?
Exactly. You may be able to persuade each other or even persuade you.
Right. And we have a lot of footage as well that we're going to both upload about the weekend together. So hopefully you will like both of our channels and follow what's going on here, because it's very different that two YouTubers in, like, I guess I'm UFO adjacent, right? Would get together and actually be able to meet in person.
UFO lives.
Because I was telling Ben, I go, you know,
I can't believe it's not UFOs.
it's not UFOs. I can't believe it's not UFOs. But I was telling Ben, like, the world has gotten so much larger that you can actually build relationships with that are in another country. Like, had there not be the internet or a YouTube, we would never have met each other and be able to, like, actually really meet in person. And so
We wouldn't even know
it
about each
feels
other.
like time and space just gets a little bit shorter. Do you have any final thoughts on that, Ben? Because we're going to
Absolutely.
get back to our breakfast and get going
Absolutely,
here,
yeah.
right?
Absolutely. I want to thank everyone for tuning in at this early hour, and I appreciate you joining us. But yeah, absolutely, we do live in a very, very strange era where Terry and I wouldn't have even heard each other's name if it hadn't been for us meeting online. I've got so many friends around the world, and I've got far more friends around the world than I do actually in my immediate vicinity where I live, by far. So this is one of the features of living in today's age, and the fact that sometimes we can meet the good old-fashioned way, which is absolutely brilliant, which I've done. Not just with Terry, but I've met with so many people these last 2 weeks who I know online so well, and I've never actually stood face to face with, or very rarely do. And that to me is a great gift. And so I'll be back literally as soon as time and money allows. And if you want to help me get back here as quickly as possible and make more videos like this with Terry, buy my book, Roswell Writing and Novel Disclosure. Available at all the bookshops now. The more you buy that, the more money I'll have, and the more you'll get brilliant, and the more I'll be able to come back and make brilliant content like this with Tere Joyce.
Fantastic. And what is your channel again? How do people find you here on YouTube?
Ben the J.R. Porter, all one word. Ben the T-H-E and Juliet Romeo and Porter, as in hospital porter, because I was a hospital porter.
Thank you. Okay, so we wish you a great day. Today is Thursday, June 6th. And so have a blessed day. And we're going to finish our breakfast and, carry on.
I'm off now. Thanks to Tere Joyce. Subscribe to Not My Rabbit Hole on YouTube. Thank you very much, Terry. I've had a lovely journey, but now it's time to go home. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Pretty wild on the stripper pole, laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game, sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Caught in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows, but baby that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream. Truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme. Chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud all for the lows. But baby, that's not my rabbit hole.
So that is the end of Terry and I's little collaboration there, and I do hope you've enjoyed these videos that we've made. I think they're great fun. Obviously, there was an older video cut into the one you've just seen, but that's okay. It's sometimes nice to see it, especially in its context, and it's also nice to see my own trip to Fresno as part of my expedition to the United States this year, in the position that Terry portrays it, as well as myself. So, what's coming up next? Well, I've actually been on another trip. I've been to another conference and I've spoken there. So there's a reportage coming up of that as well. And of course, I have all the various watch parties I've got to get out of the way. I think I've started 3 of them. So is it 2 or 3? I don't know. I've certainly started some watch parties and a read party too. We've got to get those done. And I haven't forgotten St. Theo's Day. Yes, a belated St. Theo's Day watch party. I'll do that one before I do the read party, because I did say I'd leave the read party a couple of months. So look out for that as well coming up. So once again, big thank you to Tere Joyce, and also do check out these things on her channel as well. There are links in the description box if you want to watch the original features without all this flannel by me and all my commentary. And I got to say, big thank you, Tere, also for promoting my book, Roswell Revealed: A World After Disclosure. That's very, very much appreciated. Yeah. In fact, as I say in the video, if you can buy those books, you can fund more trips like this, so I can go and do more reportages with Tere Joyce and with lots of other people and visit lots of other conferences and things like that. It's all for your entertainment as well as my pleasure. So, yeah, thank you very much, Tere. Thank you all the people who organised the Contacts in the Desert conference. And, of course, thank you, Hapanmo TV viewers, for watching once again. I'll be back soon. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.